Hello there. Welcome to So Bad It's Good. Over here is Christopher. Shimmying to my left, we got Dave.
Not shimmying. There's been no shimmying.
He's not in the movie that we watched. He's in a different movie, in a different place, filmed at a different time. And they just said, that'll work.
And I'm Tom. We watched Sniper Special Ops, starring the one and only Steven Seagal at his best.
I'm really glad there's only one Steven Seagal, actually. If there were more of these awful films would exist.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
He's been making direct-to-video blockbusters since 2003. That's a long time. That's a lot of films.
But that's just because he's very good at what he does.
Which is what?
He acts.
He acts. I genuinely thought that you were going to say he sits, because that's what he does. He sits and occasionally he stands. He doesn't do any of the stuff between standing in one place and standing in the next place.
Actually, he's wrong on this and I need to correct him because I won't have him slander Stephen's name like that. He actually walks over to a water bottle, I think, and bends down, picks it up and gets back up. And it was him.
I think it's worth noting at this early point that this isn't a Steven Seagal film.
This is it, isn't it? This is where he is, the whole movie.
Thatcher.
Yep. This is it.
I, for some weird reason, decided to watch this a third time. Well, I say watch it. I skipped through it with a stopwatch, timing how long he was on screen for. The runtime of this film is 1 hour and 22 minutes. So Steven Seagal is on screen for a total of 10 minutes and 31 seconds. I don't think he did any more than half a day's work on this. If he did, I'd eat my hat.
I reckon they probably split the day. They kept him, did 5 minutes in the morning, let him have a big lunch and a nap, and then did the rest of his scenes in the afternoon.
A special ops military force led by Sergeant Vic Mosby, Tim Abel, with an expert sniper, Sergeant Jake Chandler, who's Steven Seagal, and they're on a special mission in a remote Afghan village to extract an American congressman being held by the Taliban. Do that in the middle of the street.
God, you idiot!
Jake, separated after a firefight with the enemy, stays behind to help an injured soldier, because he's a hero.
He is a hero.
Sergeant Vic Mosby desperately tries to convince Lieutenant Colonel Jackson to let him go back and save the soldiers, but is ordered on a mission to retrieve a truckload of munitions, which could be vital for the military base.
Step on it, Charlie! I'm crushing it, Vic! Crushing it! I'm crushing it!
In direct violation of orders, Vic and his special ops team decide to head back to the village to rescue the stranded soldiers. Outnumbered and outgunned, Vic and his men engage in a massive shootout against the enemy, while Jake uses his expert skills to help save them all from certain death. This is clearly some kind of promo thing, because it hugely overstates his importance to this film, yes. Which is almost none. You literally could have just not had him and had wounded soldier drag himself into cover somewhere, and wait. The other issue I have with this film is called Sniper.
Special Ops.
Special Ops. He has a sniper rifle in his hand for 13 minutes, and that's not 13 minutes of act, because he's only in the film for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This is just the first 13 minutes of this film. He kills a total of 3 people with a sniper rifle.
Oh, baby, it's triple!
And that's it. The last we see of it. I kind of wonder if they realised eventually that he couldn't actually carry or shoulder the damn thing whilst he was stood up. Maybe 3 minutes of him in this film is him stood up.
I'd argue it's less than that.
Come on, boy, let's go.
don't shoot the wrong guys.
Don't run out of me, little brother. We almost home here. You still sore about that $50? That's what people say.
He spends the rest of the film running around with this assault rifle, which equally he cannot shoulder or use. He's constantly got it. You know, like when you were Quasar when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and you just sort of ran around with it, like holding it here.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's how he runs around with it, and it's a fairly small gun.
I mean, Rob Van Dam in particular looks like a child.
Rob
playing
Van
with
Dam
it.
can't walk
No.
and look around at the same time.
I would say there's a very strong claim to sue the makers of this film because it doesn't really star Steven Seagal and it doesn't really involve a sniper. The front cover is pure deception. If I'm going to credit anybody for this film, it's whoever did the Photoshop getting Seagal looking that slim.
I'd say fair play to him, though, because when they cast his body double, they didn't cast a thin guy.
Oh, he was in a suit, whoever that was.
Oh, camera.
Show us his face.
Seagal's just
Show us his face, you coward.
It wouldn't surprise me if he demanded to be sat down always. I'm pretty sure there's only a few occasions where he says more than one line at a time.
Well, it's a lot. It takes a lot of breath.
Listen, I gotta go.
Everybody else in this film has more screen time and more lines than he does.
Yeah, and more emotion and more acting.
He doesn't even take his sodding sunglasses off until literally the last scene.
Are you really as good as they all say you are?
Every once in a while.
You can tell why he kept him on because I don't know what happened, but he had the litless eyes, didn't he? It was like a little alien, and it was just so utterly disappointing.
Well, that was the thing. It was like, what's the dramatic impact of going?
Are you really as good as they all say you are?
Every once in a while.
When there's nothing special going on underneath.
When I first saw the cover of this, and I said Van Dam because it had Van Dam written on it, I initially thought Jean-Claude.
I know. I saw you both get excited.
I
was like, no, calm down.
Do you know Van Dam?
I think that's a matter of opinion, that he was a champion anywhere. You know.
Turns out it's Rob Van Dam, which was kind of cool. I'm a pro wrestling fan. Rob Van Dam is a very good pro wrestler. Hello, puss.
Can you...
Also has a martial arts background and he's very athletic and is known for kicks, spins, flips, dives, the lot. So when I saw Rob Van Dam, I was like, okay, maybe what they've done is brought in someone like Rob Van Dam to be the action hero, so to throw some kicks and do some stuff.
Come on.
Rob Van Dam doesn't do any kicks in this.
No, nothing that he's actually very good at.
I think we said at the start, I'm hoping he's going to grab it because his move is he chucks a chair at you and then he does a kick.
Vic, you can't be thinking what I'm thinking.
It doesn't have to be super obvious, but, chuck a chair and do a kick. None of it.
One reference to his wrestling career in the entire film.
Oh, really? I didn't even catch that.
It always did this thing of RVD.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a bit at the end where the reporter woman takes a picture of him and he's holding the gun and he gives it one of them. But that's it.
Yeah, but you don't want to cheapen the film.
I mean, I would argue...
that's a fair point. It's such a,
you don't want to ruin... Like, you wouldn't say that if he was in a Scorsese film. Oh, where's Rob Van Dam?
When you love someone, you've got to trust them. I believed that's the kind of love I had.
I would argue that there are more people in the world who know who Rob Van Dam is than they do Steven Seagal.
No.
No,
He was last relevant, really, in 1992 when Under Siege came out.
This is your first red carpet premiere.
It is my first.
Under Siege 2. That's Steven Seagal.
I had just turned 16 on this movie, and he said, you know, Katie, I've got girlfriends your age. And I said, isn't that illegal? And he said, they don't seem to mind. And I said, Mom!
There will be generations of kids now who have no idea who he is, but probably know who Rob Van Dam is.
I would have thought 20s and up all know who Steven Seagal is. One, because he's now made a name for himself by being so utterly awful. But like, wasn't he like friends with Putin and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, he's famous for different stuff.
Seagal is huge. There's no way. There's no way. If
Just
you
look
had
at-
two
best way to test
DVDs,
it-
a Rob Van Dam film
Yeah.
or a Steven Seagal film, everyone's always choosing Steven Seagal, no matter what.
Finally, Steven Seagal emerges, and he comes out and he said, I just read the greatest script I've ever read in my life. Really? Who wrote it? I did.
So the main star of this, actually, who should be on that front cover, is Tim
Abel, or Abel, I'm not how you pronounce his name.
What do you need from me?
Start with a big hero smile.
Old Vic is really the main character. He's supposed to be... he features most heavily. So he's the sergeant. He's in charge of everybody.
All right, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sorry, Conrad, we're out of time. Godspeed.
He is the brave hero, but then doesn't do the bravery he announces he's going to do and lets someone else do it instead. Literally my favourite part of this film.
I've got to make it to that deuce and a half and bring it back here as a shield for this truck.
Suicide Dick.
Jennings! I got to make it to your truck. Bring it back here. Sergeant, let me go. Are you sure you can make it and bring the truck back alongside this truck?
Suicide Dick. Suicide Dick. Suicide Dick. Suicide Dick. Suicide Dick. Okay.
There wasn't even a beat. There wasn't even a beat.
And then the other dude runs and gets shot.
And then another dude runs after him who also gets shot.
He got rid of that job like a hot potato, didn't he? So we have this reporter called Janet, who is played by a lady called Charlene Amoya.
That was some crazy stunt you pulled, Miss Conrad.
Pearls don't lie on the seashore, Detroit. If you want one, you gotta die for it.
She seems like she can act.
NATO correspondent, so just calm down, okay?
She's supposed to be like the peppy kind of rebellious reporter.
She's got to get the scoop.
Get back in the truck.
This is what I came here for. Don't you dare try to stop me now.
She's a photographer, really. But incidentally,
I mean, that's a stretch.
Now move your ass. Let's go.
You don't do that with the camera. No, you wouldn't do that with your camera.
She gets in the way with a bloody camera.
Get back here.
I thought this was going the way of other Steven Seagal films, right? She turns up, only woman we know. It was like, she's going to be put in her place.
Bring your scrawny little neck.
This woman's going to be put in her place.
What are you trying to do? Get yourself killed?
But actually, she saves the day.
Rotten hell, motherfucker.
She's really good with a gun. She looks better than any of the army people shooting that weapon.
Take away the pretense that she's meant to be a reporter and had just put her in a fucking soldier's outfit. It would have worked much better in terms of the story, because you wouldn't have had this kind of, why is she there?
One wild shot hits those explosives back there.
There's the briefest hint of some chemistry between between
they say
Vic,
there is
between Vic and the reporter, but
You haven't even gotten to know me yet.
Oh, I think I know you pretty well.
Are they flirting?
I don't know.
I was deeply saddened that the soldier who loses his eyesight...
My face feels like it's on fire.
I was so upset he wasn't in it more, because he was a terrible actor.
I had forgotten about him.
Thanks for dragging me into that Humvee. If I'd have just been a little bit faster.
Yeah, forget it.
He also has, I think, ironically funny scenes.
I can see shapes. It's all blurry.
Mark's listening to me.
He's such a bad actor.
Just sit back and relax, okay? We'll be back to check on you.
He's not going to make it.
The fella can't see him anyway. So
That's true. And he's never going to.
Yeah, he's not going to, so it doesn't matter.
And then this is the dude that has the lucky rabbit's foot.
A rabbit's foot?
Can't hurt.
He loses his eyesight, and then he goes to the lead, the real lead of the film.
I want you to have this. Maybe it'll do you some good.
And Vic takes it like it's an honour, and it's like, you just lost your eyesight.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I'll burn it.
Oh, but he thinks it could have been worse.
I'm sorry about Doc and the guys. I guess compared to them, I'm the lucky one.
You guys have rewatched this, right?
Yeah.
You know, full disclosure, I didn't bother because I couldn't bring
I
myself
do
to.
not blame you.
Is it any clearer how he loses his eyesight?
Oh, no.
On second or third watch?
Yeah, you're right.
There's just
I
like a
totally
flash of light,
Yeah.
and then he's
It was just a bright flash of light right in my eyes. Must have ricocheted off the Humvee.
There's not even a real antagonist in this film either. They're just generic terrorists.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Proud grandpa.
Apart from the dude at the end, but you don't get introduced to
No.
him until literally at the
I mean,
end.
also Taliban leaders apparently just go need to knock on their front door and just say, "Could you come out? We need to have a chat."
How?
Very amusing, Sergeant.
The bad guys are so bad. They're awful. They just run out like the first bit. The first scene, they all just run out into the middle.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another bit.
It felt like a video game where
Yeah.
you're running
What,
through,
where you've
and
got
then
it set on easy.
they all just run out in front of you, and you're like, "There's a box there, dude. Why aren't you just staying behind the box?"
You know how we sit and watch these films, and then we sit and film these things, and then you sit and edit them, and we do it all because it's just a bit of a laugh,
love it,
really.
yeah.
Like, it'd be nice to get something from it, but for the most part, it's the social element. I think it's the same for him. I think he literally, he's just like, yeah, I'll do that. Stay out, innit?
I think
No.
I would disagree. I
No.
think he's just
Yeah.
after a payday.
I think it's money and ego stroke on those sets. I bet he gets treated like a queen.
Yeah, I bet so. He got paid more money for this than this film made, almost certainly. It was quite hard to find any information out about this film because it's so shit.
Not a big promotional tour or anything.
No, I don't think there was. So I have an estimated DVD sales, which is $165,000. That's it. I think I read somewhere, again, hard to pin down any actual figures for this film, about maybe 13 cinemas.
Wow, I'm surprised it got any.
Same.
Yeah, I'm actually
Genuinely,
quite impressed
like,
by that.
this
The
is-
fact that it was even shown in
Yeah.
theatres.
And there's the jealous, and there's the haters, and they will always be there.
So Seagal does a bit where he walks into a room, and does he pick up a phone?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
And-
a point. There's
And he picks up the phone, and he's got his gun, but to make sure he's safe, I'll just wave it.
It's such a half-arse. If you were an actual soldier, you would just turn towards the door.
The thing that I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet, Seagal's ability to pull a switcheroo. He can go southpaw at any minute. So he's walking around holding the gun like this. Oh, what's that over there?
I honestly think it's because he's too fat to handle a gun properly. I kid you not. They go back into the town to rescue, and not all of them, just two of them. Go back into the town to rescue Seagal and this wounded soldier whose name I couldn't give a shit about.
No one did.
No one did.
Seagal didn't.
Rich, wake up, man. Cavalry just arrived. Be ready.
He is only there so that there's a reason that Seagal has to stay in that town.
He's only there, so there's a reason Seagal has to speak out loud.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would just be Steven Seagal sat in a room.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm thinking about trying to get out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs and commandeer us a truck. Right now.
Before they do this little task of Van Dam sneaks around the town and sort of plants some explosives that they're going to use later with a little remote detonator. When it comes to it, the detonator doesn't work and he's frantically stabbing the button. It doesn't work. So Seagal just pulls off a couple of shots and then blows it all up. He's the hero.
He pulls them off, though, like they should be sniper shots, but he's got a machine gun.
He's got an assault rifle, but because he's too fat, he can't hold a gun.
You can't really work out where all these bombs are. You assume they're quite spread out.
You don't see them from like a vantage point from his point of view. But when Van Damme is laying them, they drive through the town and like drop him off. He puts one down, gets back on, drops one off.
Like they're hidden behind. I don't know what view he's at that he sees them all.
Bang, 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 and that's the end of it.
That's how good he is, though.
Yeah, that is how good he is.
I think you're doing Seagal a disservice.
Yeah,
like, he's an expert marksman.
Can you imagine the conversation he had with, I'm assuming, the director?
Director man, there's a problem with this gun. I'm not using it.
What's the problem?
Too long. It's not specified right.
It's
too long. It's too long.
It's actually a sniper rifle, and the movie's called.
I don't know if you've had military. Don't raise your hand to me. I don't know if you've had military training like me have. And it's just
like me have.
So I'm gonna use this is the thing.
Stephen.
I know the title sniper, but let's say special ops. You always sound bad anyway.
Do you know what you sound like? And I don't know if you were channeling him. I can't remember the character's name, but it's in South Park, and it's the kid who's got Down syndrome who's the bad guy.
No. Shut up, Classy! Oh, hell no! I'm gonna break your dick off! Hang on, Classy, I'm sorry.
So this was directed by Fred Olen Ray. And for punt at what you think he mostly has spent his time directing.
Porn.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Well,
I thought you were going to say like commercials.
No, they're mostly described as erotic film. I don't know if there's any porn aficionados out there want to tell me the difference between porno and an erotic film. Most of them weren't in his name; they were under a pseudonym. But they're all his films.
That's how I make all my porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Under Senor Chiritomo.
This was terrible. I'm not going to give it a 0 because I think Doc deserves half a mark for his 10 minutes that he's in it. So I'm going to give it half. That's as much as I can do. To be honest, I want to give it none, but I feel like that's just mean.
I'm giving this half a mark also. What I saw was Seagal sitting and I saw him mumbling and I love it. And I'm actually really buying into him. I was going to say, as the more we spoke about this, the more we spoke about, wonder what it's like behind the scenes. I wonder how he is. And the more I just think, wow, man, what a hero. I'm actually genuinely getting more excited to watch his stuff just to see, just to see how he gets out of doing anything because he wasn't that famous. He really wasn't.
He hasn't been famous for a long time, really.
Did your fire station maintain my city?
Sorry, what? Stood up for the first time.
You said, get me a Big Mac and fries.
Is that what you said?
You know how, like, we admire Neil Breen, right?
For
being so bad and he's got an audience and whatever. Seagal is kind of that. Neil Breen cares, I think, about his stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Seagal doesn't, and he's still getting away with it. And there's something slightly endearing, and it's wrong, but
it feels like more of a con. That feels like him conning people.
Yeah, people should stop paying him to do it.
It's not that Seagal doesn't give a shit. Seagal just thinks he's brilliant.
No, you're right. It is
I think he does.
It is that.
I think Seagal, he is so just
arrogant
that he's just like, this is gold.
Yeah.
What I'm doing here is gold.
Right.
Like, he's made his name on being the laziest action hero, and he's obviously just bought into it. Yeah, I'm exceptional.
I'm giving this a big fat 0. This is shit. It's not even a good Steven Seagal film to watch because he's not even in it.
Are you doing this for me?
Is that his wife?
Well, I hope so, otherwise he's got a picture of a random woman in his pocket. What I quite liked about Kill Switch was watching how bad Steven Seagal was. But I can't even watch that. So what you're left with, when you take that novelty out of it, is a shit action film with a bad story, bad actors, that's not even very funny.
I get it. I think for me, because Western World was a 0, this is definitely not.
I thought about this yesterday.
You're doing relative scoring. You're doing just scoring in the moment.
I thought about this yesterday. I was like, I gave Western World. Actually, in hindsight, I'd probably give Western World half a point because it was so laughably bad. But this isn't even laughably bad.
You put Western World over this?
Yeah, because of entertainment factor. Not because it's a good film, but it was more entertaining watched than this shit.
Oh, no. It wasn't. And
you're
as I recall...
No, it was funny to watch. It was like a comedy car crash, that film.
This is the first movie we've watched where at a point, more than one point, each of us asked if we could call time on it.
Then what the fuck? I really couldn't give a shit. This is literally one of the worst. Did you pay money for this?
I think so. I really don't want to watch this.
My apologies, I just didn't expect.
I want to go home.
Look,
It's been a long day. I can't tell you how bored I am. I'm thinking about literally anything else.
It's simultaneously a short film and a really long film.
I don't think you're speaking your truth.
No. Do not tell me what the truth is, Tom. This is just downright boring. There's no redeeming features to it.
That was fun. It was funny to watch. It was silly. It was silly.
At least that you could laugh at how bad it was.
You didn't laugh at all during Western World. You hated it.
I did hate it, but I didn't hate it as much as this.
You can't tell me that you wouldn't have enjoyed Western World more if it had 10 minutes worth of Seagal in it.
Yeah.
And this film has 10 minutes worth of Seagal in it. We're arguing over which shit smells worse. like they both, let's be honest, they both fucking stink. So don't put your nose near either of them.
No, don't.
So, Sniper Special Ops receives a whopping 1 out of 15.
That's
impressive. Christopher, what should they do if they like it?
They should write it on an aeroplane, a paper aeroplane. Throw it over your fence. Maybe put some other greetings on there.
Some other greetings?
Yeah,
what are they going to put on? I liked it.
So someone picks it up and sees a...
Well, they'll probably be compelled to find out what the mystery is.
Right.
So they'll think, well, this clearly means something.
I need to type this in.
I need to type this into the internet.
All right, there we go.
Like it, subscribe to it. We do a few of these now. We've got a few in the
can.
In the can. There's a few for you to watch if you subscribe and go to all of our old stuff. You can see how we've matured through this process. If you're into that, if you like watching
boys mature,
middle-aged men mature slowly over the course of a couple of years, there's that for you.
What should they do if they liked it?
What, the movie?
Oh my God, please do the fucking outro. What should they do if they like it?
What, the movie?
We're done.